On today's menu is a cauliflower and potato curry that is more of a dry type of curry. I have several cauliflower recipes on my channel and each one is different from the other. And this one will also be a different one. Hello my friends, Namaskar and welcome to Curries with Bumbi. Now sometimes I get comments telling me to blanch the cauliflower first before cooking as there may be worms hiding inside the florets. Honestly speaking, I've never encountered with any creepy crawlies from the cauliflower that I used. But one thing I've observed is that keeping them in boiling hot water or blanching them for some time prevents the cauliflower from soaking up too much oil. So I added about a teaspoon of salt and half a teaspoon of turmeric to the cauliflower, added enough boiling hot water and allowed it to sit for about 15 to 20 minutes. I took that time to do the other prep work. I will be grinding ginger, garlic and green chili using my mortar and pestle. You can also use coarsely grated ginger and garlic, but I do not like using a fine paste of ginger and garlic for this particular recipe. See, it is not even close to a paste. Now let's prep the yogurt. Take out the yogurt from the refrigerator at least 30 minutes before it hits that hot pan. This is plain unflavored yogurt. In it goes a teaspoon each of turmeric powder, Kashmiri chili powder, ground coriander and ground cumin. Mix very well and I use a wire whisk to do this as it takes care of getting rid of any lumps very quickly. Okay, so after 20 minutes I drained all that water from the cauliflower and here the potatoes are resting in water so that they don't turn brown. In a pot add 2 tablespoons of oil over medium heat. Once the oil turns hot, but not smoking hot, add a dry bay leaf, 2 dry red chilies, half a teaspoon of cumin seeds, a fourth of a teaspoon of fenugreek seeds and half a teaspoon of mustard seeds. You need the mustard seeds to splutter, only then they will release their flavor, or else they will taste bitter. So you can see the seeds are dancing around and that's a happy splutter, I must say. Next add the cauliflower. Stir for about 2 minutes and then Mr. Potato and his friends go in, along with 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. Fry on medium-high heat. Put a cover and come back to it after a minute. Uncover, give a stir and again cover for a minute. Do this for a couple of times until you see the vegetables getting a little golden brown color along the edges. But my friends, please do not get distracted like me, because if you don't come back to them frequently, then they can start getting too brown below. In case if that happens, please do not panic. Just switch off the heat and immediately stir them, scraping out any brown bits from the bottom. I could have edited this part out, but I wanted to show you my mistake. I do the mistake so that you don't. Next, take them out into a bowl and wash the pan if it looks too browned up. I again added 2 tablespoons of oil in the pot. Once the oil turns hot, add chopped onions and a 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. When the onions turn a little pale in color, add the crushed ginger, garlic, green chili. Stir them on medium-low heat for 3 to 4 minutes. And then the chopped tomatoes go in. Add just 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt and then cover on and allow the tomatoes to become soft. After about a minute, cover off. The tomatoes have started to break down. Then lower the heat to the lowest mark, add a splash of water to bring down the temperature of the pan. And you know why we are doing this drill. We are doing all this because it is yogurt time and the yogurt needs all this pampering or else it will split. So whenever using yogurt for cooking, number 1, take it out from the fridge 30 minutes before it makes its way to the hot pan. Number 2, add a splash of water to the hot pan to bring down its temperature. Number 3, decrease the heat of your stove to the lowest mark possible or switch off the heat if using an electric stove. Number 4, start stirring immediately after adding the yogurt. Keep on stirring on very low heat till you start seeing bubbles. I felt everything was looking a bit pale, so I added a teaspoon of sweet paprika. You can also use Kashmiri chili powder, but since I already added a teaspoon of it earlier and I also used green chili, so I chose sweet paprika. See, now it is looking perfect. Next, the fried cauliflower and potato tumbles down. Mix everything very well so that each piece gets well coated with that masala. I added half a teaspoon of salt. I added just a fourth of a cup of hot water. Then more of flavoring on the way. A teaspoon of garam masala powder and half a teaspoon of kasuri methi, that is dried fenugreek leaves. Next, a teaspoon of sugar goes in to balance the flavors. And again add just a fourth of a cup of hot water. This curry is more on the dry side, so add just a splash of water from time to time, just enough for the vegetables to get cooked. Then cover on for 8 minutes on low heat. After 8 minutes, uncover. If you see your vegetables have turned tender, then move on to the next step. My vegetables need a little more time, so cover on again for 5 more minutes on low heat. After 5 minutes, the potatoes have turned tender, and so has the cauliflower. My friends, please do not wait till they turn all mushy-dushy. If they turn too soft, it won't taste good and it won't look good. Then I added a third of a cup of frozen green peas. I added 2 more tablespoons of water as things were looking too dry, but you do not have to add it if you see enough moisture there. Then cover on for another minute. After 2 minutes, do a taste test and adjust the seasonings. Take out the bay leaves, and I forgot to switch on my camera when I added chopped cilantro, that is coriander leaves, but some of you know how I cannot finish a dish without adding it. You can leave them out if you do not like the flavor of cilantro, or you can add any herbs of your choice, and see how yummy it looks. Both potatoes and cauliflower have turned soft, but they are still maintaining their shape. Serve this with roti or paratha or over hot steamed rice. Please try this recipe and send me your feedback. And please do click that like button for me. Bye bye.